minus 5x equals 30. Now what I want to get rid of is this minus 5. This minus 5 is causing me all the problems. And it's multiplied by x. So I have minus 5 planes, or minus 5 cats, or minus 5 computers. And I just want a computer, right? Now I'm at minus 5 computers equals 30. I want to know what computer equals, or x. So x is really a placeholder. Anything can be there. So what we're going to do is we're going to, once again, here we have a multiplication, right? It's negative 5 times x. So if we want to get rid of that negative 5, you just divide by that number to get 1. Anything divided by that number is going to be 1. Anything divided by the same number is going to be 1. So when it's minus 5 over minus 5, it's equal 1. X over x, that equals 1. Airplane over airplane, that equals just 1. It equals 1. So I'm telling you, if you think about it, that's the way it works. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to divide by minus 5. But if what I do to one side, I have to do to the other side, right? So here I'm dividing over minus 5. And here I'm dividing over minus 5. So these two things cancel, and I'm left with x. These two things you divide, you get minus 6, right? Because it's a positive divided by a negative. So there's a negative. 30 divided by negative 5 equals 6. That's negative 6. Is that the right answer? Yes, it is. Moving along, example 50, more problems. And math is about doing problems. You don't know exactly what it's for, but it doesn't matter because you're doing problems and you hope you're going to get it along the way. So let's take a look at this. I'll put the other problem here. All right. So the problem here is we want to get x alone. And x is multiplied by something. In this case, it's multiplied by 8. So if we want to get rid of that 8, we have to divide by 8. But the other side too, we have to divide by 8. Boom. So 8 divided by 8 equals 1. 1 times x equals x. Negative 24 divided by 8 equals 3. But since you're dividing a negative by a positive, it's negative 3. And that is the answer. Moving along, minus 4x equals minus 20. So minus 4 is, we want to find x, right? With that x, we need to find that x. So what we're going to do is we're going to divide by negative 4, right? If we want to get rid of a negative 4, you divide by negative 4. And we do the same thing to the other side. So we're left with x equals negative 20 divided by negative 4 equals 5. Because a negative divided by negative equals a positive, right? Positive times positive equals positive. Negative times negative equals positive. Negative times positive equals negative, right? That's the rule. All right. So wait a minute. Let's do the next problem. 42 equals 7x. We want that x to be alone. Divide by 7. Both sides we divide by 7. That equals x, right? Dividing this. Here, 42 divided by 7 equals 6. And we have our answer. And now we're going to do the division. So x divided by 5 equals minus 3. Now this is the killer, right? When you see x divided by 5, what they're really saying is x divided by 5 equals minus 3. And when you divide something by a number, if you want to eliminate it, you have to multiply by the same number. So let's say we had here 8 divided by 5. That's not a bad example. 10 divided by 5, right? That equals 2. Well, if I want to bring this 2 back to 10, I would multiply by 5, right? I would do the opposite of what I just did, and that equals 10. We're doing the same thing here. X, instead of 10, we're saying x divided by 5. We have to multiply by 5 to eliminate it. And we have to do the same thing on this side. We have to multiply by 5. So x equals negative 3 times 5 equals negative 15. That's pretty good. And that is the solution. We have examples. They gave us examples, examples, examples. All right. Now, let's take a look at this. X over minus 7 equals minus 2. Does x over 7 scare you? X divided by 7. That's what it's saying. Equals minus 2. So what do I have to multiply this division to eliminate this minus 7? Well, you have to multiply by minus 7. Equals minus 2 minus 7. Poof. Not to confuse you, not to think it's a subtraction, it's a minus sign. It's a minus sign to say that this is a negative number. So we're eliminating this because we're multiplied, so we're left with x equals minus 2 times minus 4 equals 14. Yeah, that looks right. Let's do it like they did in the book, shall we? X over 7, negative 7 equals minus 2. To eliminate this, you have to multiply by negative 7, right? So that becomes negative 7x, right? Because you're multiplying this guy by this guy, right? Because this is really 1, right? So do you know what I mean? The denominator is 1. So equals 14. Right? 1 times negative 7 equals negative 7. So if you see, so you have to think this is multiplied. So if you see this and this is the same, you can eliminate it. And that becomes x equals 14. X over 8 equals 5. Right away, take a look at this. What do I multiply to eliminate divided by 8? Well, I multiply by 8 on both sides. That's the key, doing it on both sides, right? Because if I have airplanes here equals airplanes, and I multiply by 5 both sides, I have 5 airplanes, 5 airplanes. That's a true statement. 5 airplanes equals 5 airplanes. That's what we're doing here. You multiply both by, you're getting the same thing. So 8 times x over 8, eliminate the 8s, you get x equals 40. 5 times 8. Next problem. X over negative 4, a little tricky there, equals 9. So when you divide by negative 4, if you want to eliminate it, you multiply by negative 4, both sides. Negative 4 times x. Just want to show you what's going on here. If you multiply by negative 4, it's really negative 4 over 1, right? Times x over negative 4. This is eliminated. You're left with x over 1. Anything over 1 is just that answer. So that's what's going on in here. So x equals 9 times negative 4 equals negative 36. Now it says here, the process described above is fundamental to solving equations. Once this process is mastered, the problems we will see have several more steps. These problems may seem more complex, but the process and patterns used will remain the same. A little worldview note, the study of algebra originally was called cosic art, from Latin, the study of things which we now call variables. Planes, trains, automobiles, calculators, pens, pencils, that's what that X can stand for, anything. All right, so I think we're ready to study. I'm just going to look over the Humongous book on algebra problems to see if we can have any help here. I just want to go over that territory again just to illustrate what I'm going to take 3 different equations, all right? I'm going to take 3 equals 3. I'm going to take x equals 3. This is the same thing, right? We know x here is equal to 3. It can only be 3, right? Because if you put any other number there in terms of x, it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. So if I divide both sides by 3, or another way to show division is like this. So 3 divided by 3 equals 1. 3 divided by 3 equals 1. You see how the problem is valid? You see that? I had a 3 equals 3. Well, 3 does equal 3. Certainly doesn't equal 5. It equals 3. I divided both sides by 3, and I got the result 1 on each side. Well, 1 equals 1. Right? So there's the proof there. It works. Let's do it again. 3 equals 3. Let's multiply by 5 now on each side. So 5 times 3 equals 15. 3 times 5, or 5 times 3 equals 15. 15 does equal 15. This is true there. This is true. As much as 3 equals 3, 15 also equals 15. All right. So that's how that works.